This is me talking to Gene about building him a tiny home bike camper because he's currently living in a dumpster. So we head over to the good old Home Depot. This is all the stuff we need to build Gene's bike camper. Let's go pay for it. So we can't fit all the supplies in our camper van, so we rented this truck so we can haul all the supplies to Seacoast. The church is letting us build this bike camper in their parking lot. So we're gonna use this 3/4 inch plywood to build a frame that will work as the walls for this bike camper. I started off by drawing the shape of the bike camper onto this 4x8 sheet of plywood. So it's 91 degrees out right now and it's hot as hell, so we decided to pick up this awning and put it over this just to try to help us out a little bit. So let's set it up. We finally have some shade. Let's get back to work. After I finished drawing the exact shape of the bike camper that I wanted, I cut it out using my jigsaw and my skill saw. And removing the center pieces and replacing them with foam insulation allows this bike camper to be super lightweight. Finally finished building the frame, and this thing is super lightweight, but what we're gonna do next is we're gonna router out some edges so we can fit insulation inside of all of these and they can fit nice and snug. Now that the insulation is traced and cut out, I set it into the grooves and use tight foam from Loctite as the glue. And the reason we're using spray foam instead of adhesive is because it sets much faster and sticks much better to the insulation. We're making a replica of the other side, except the only difference is gonna be that this side's not gonna have a door, it's gonna have a vent. This is the 5th bike camper that we've built and given away, and it's thanks to all of our viewers and supporters that donate on our GoFundMe. Every penny that's donated will be given to a person in need. But now that both sides of the camper are finished, we had to connect them together. So we cut out 11 30-inch 2x2s, then pre-drilled and screwed them into the camper walls. This means the inside of the bike camper will be 7 foot 6 inches long by 30 inches wide. So Gene will have plenty of space to spread out, and I believe this camper is going to be a big upgrade for him. And since he's living in a dumpster with no power, we reached out to Oupes to see if they would donate a power station and a solar panel to really help Gene's living situation. And they agreed to send Gene an 1800 watt beast of a power station, so I think he's going to be excited. For the roof, we're using this 1/2 inch insulation, and it doesn't want to bend naturally, so we're going to cut some grooves into it so it can bend easier and we can install it onto the frame.
Came a real long way with the sun in my eyes, trying to get home safe. All right, I'm in the villa all day. We could probably go the distance if she get on pace. All right, that's right. I live, I love, I fight, alright. I try to make it poetic, channel it when it's hectic. Panic, I don't accept it, I've been demanding my credit.
Now that the camper shell is put together, we started to build the trailer frame. And to keep things lightweight, we used 2x3s for the border and 2x2s for the cross beams. So this bike camper can roll, we picked up 7-inch caster wheels from Harbor Freight, and for the floor, we're using this 1/4 inch corrugated plastic panel, which is super lightweight and strong. And of course, after we finish any trailer, we have to give it a little test drive. Now that we have our platform finished up, the wheels put on, and our frame all built out, this is the tricky part where we're gonna slide the frame over the platform, and it needs to fit perfectly snug because we don't even have an inch to spare, so wish us luck. Whew. Guys, I love the way this bike camper is coming out, but now the next step is going to be to sand the living crap out of this thing before installing the fiberglass, and I've never done fiberglass before, so I'm a little nervous. Hopefully I don't completely mess this thing up, but wish me luck. I used 80 grit sandpaper to smooth out the surfaces, then filled all the cracks with paintable caulking to make the surface as flat as possible for when I install the fiberglass. For the fiberglass, I picked up 2 cans of fiberglass resin from 3M and all this other stuff. I then mixed the resin with the hardener and got right to work. I brushed on a thin layer of resin, then laid the fiberglass sheet over it and spread more resin over the fiberglass. So we got the first piece done, and it took a lot more material than we were expecting, and it also looks like complete crap, so I'm super nervous right now. So we're gonna wait till this piece dries and then we're gonna sand it to see how it looks. And I don't know what we're gonna do if it doesn't work out because we don't really have another alternative, so let's see what happens. After waiting about 2.5 hours, I used 80 grit sandpaper to flatten out the surface, and it looked pretty good, so we decided to keep going and use a paint roller instead of a paintbrush because the paintbrush was just destroying the fiberglass, and the roller worked much better. But after doing this, I have a newfound respect for people who do fiberglass work because not only does it smell horrible, it's also time sensitive because the resin hardens so quickly. But after fiberglassing the entire shell, I waited till the next day to start sanding it. I use 80 grit sandpaper to flatten it out the best that I can. Now that the entire camper is fiberglass and sanded, the next step is going to be to build a door, so then we can finally paint. For the door, I decided to use a leftover piece of insulation and fiberglass it as well so it can be nice and hard and match the rest of the camper. I had to let the door dry for at least 2.5 hours before sanding and painting it, and in the meantime we decided to paint the bike camper. And we're just using cheap exterior paint from Home Depot. But hey you! Click that subscribe button, it really helps us keep making videos like this for you guys. We ended up adding 3 layers of paint to the exterior of this bike camper, and I was really happy at the way it was starting to look. I then sanded and painted the door, added the hinges, then installed the door onto the bike camper. I really wanted to give this bike camper some curb appeal, so I masked off all the edges and painted in black. And it really made this camper look so much better. I think Gene's gonna be really happy when he sees it. We also added reflectors so cars can see him at night, a way so Gene can lock his bike camper from the outside and the inside, and a vent that we spray painted black to help with air circulation. We next had to connect the camper to the bike. So we cut this piece of metal, drilled some holes into it, and used nuts and bolts to hold it all together. We also picked up a bike to tow the little tiny home, connected it to the bike camper, and gave it a little test drive. And since we're adding the Oupes Power station, we added a small fan. And the crazy part is that it can run this fan for up to 45 hours on a single charge. It can recharge his cell phone up to 131 times. And if he runs out of power, he also has this 240 watt solar panel that he can charge up with, or he can charge it up using a 120 volt outlet. And I want to say thank you to Oupes for sending Gene this power station. He's now going to have electricity, and it should make his life a little easier. So we finally finished up with the bike camper. Gene's on his way. I'm kind of nervous. Let's see how he likes it. Come on, you ready?
Sure. Wow.
You like it?
That's awesome. Minky, that is the business right there. Thank you. Thank you guys so much.
I got you, bro.
You guys are awesome.
So we got you a bike, got you a power station. This is going to allow you to have electricity and a solar panel, so when you run out of power you'll be able to charge up. So this will give you enough power to charge your phone, like 150 times I believe, enough power to like run a fan, even a little TV if you want to run a TV. There's a way for you to lock your little tiny home. Got you a sleeping mat that's actually comfortable. It's memory foam. We got you a pillow. We even got you a backpack with brand new clothes in it. Got a fan inside of there as well. I got you, bro.
Manny, thank you.
Love you, man.
Well, I don't know what made you start doing this, Manny, but he's got a special spot for you. If you read that passage, I told you, those of you that are kind to us out here like this are far and few in between. We get so much grief out here by people, you know what I mean? Just for being homeless, just for not having a place to sleep at night. This is going to allow me to be able to pull up and go to sleep and not have to have one eye open.
The whole point of this is to help people get off of the concrete.
Goodness, you don't understand. If you looked through the fence where I was, I'm on a moving dolly. It's just got a dog bed on it. Do you know how hard it is to find some place that'll let you sit down and charge your phone? I've been kicked out of 7 places just for sitting down and charging their phone.
For some reason, a person's appearance will have other people judge you. And it's so messed up because everybody's a human and everybody goes through tough times. Everybody just goes through the tough times in a different way. But that doesn't mean you're not a human. That doesn't mean that you're a piece of crap. You're so welcome, dude. Here's the key to your new little tiny home.